have puppy kindergarten level, we have beginners level, we have advanced obedience, and we have competitive obedience, which is people who are going to show their dog. We have agility as well. So there's a lot of different things you can do with your dog besides just train them to do one thing. This is basically puppy kindergarten and beginner's obedience kind of lumped into one because we found it works best that way for veterinary hospitals because most people's schedules are not set so they can come a specific night and time every single week. So a lot of times if we lump, have like, oh, puppy kindergarten is only at 7 on Tuesday, then I rule out half the class. So I want to have the class for everyone. The class is very individualized, it's very informal. So we will be right there with you, we'll be right there to help you. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. Don't hesitate to interrupt us if we're doing something you don't understand, because we want you to understand it. Our goal is to teach you to train your dog. We are not going to train your dog for you. I'm sorry. That would cost a lot more. If there's bad weather, it's okay, because Dr. Tori and Dr. Glenn built this really nice big building for us, so it's all right. Unless, the building blows down, we're fine. We'll have the classes inside. It works out very well. We don't have any problems. We actually like to have some inside and some outside so we can get training in different areas as opposed to just one limited area. So don't worry if there's bad weather. If your female dog is not spayed and she comes into season, she can still attend the class, but you will need to put a diaper or something on her and clean up after her. If your dog is distracted by it, tough pootie, my dogs are distracted by it too, and your dog will have to get over it because it's part of real life. So. Let's see. Friends and children, we want them to come. We encourage them to come. Hi, guys.
Hi. Hi.
And that being said, though, we want the extra people to stay on the sidelines. Come next week. This class will be much more crowded because the 17 people who did not show up tonight will be here, too. So we will have 2 classes, probably, and there will be a lot more people. So the extra people will have to be on the side and not interfering with the general training. But they need to be there so they can learn about it, too. It's important that everyone in the household is kind of on the same page. We want one person in the household to be the primary trainer. So we want one person to concentrate on the training. The other person needs to learn it as well, but you pick one person in the initial stages because the way you teach something is going to be different than the way I teach something or than the way Jen or Athena teaches something. When I teach sit, I'm going to say it a different way. I'm a pretty dominant person than someone who's very soft-spoken and quiet. And if you have 2 people training the dog initially, it's going to be very confused. So we want one primary person doing the training, okay? Any questions so far? Keep your dogs under control at all times. Don't let them interact with each other for the first few weeks. Don't let them go sniff bottoms or sniff noses or play or anything like that until we know them a little better. We don't want to have a dog fight. Once we get to know the dogs, we as instructors will tell you to go let them play together. We'll have puppy playtime in the yard. We'll do some other fun things. But initially, we don't want you walking your puppy up to someone's dog who maybe is there because it's aggressive, and you don't know that. So everybody kind of stick to their own area for the first week or so until you get to know the other dogs in the class and make sure that you know why they're there. We do have a lot of PetSmart rejects. We have a lot of Petco rejects. We have dogs who have been kicked out of other classes, but they need training just as much as your cute little puppies do. So we just have to handle them and get them to the side. That's why I tell everyone not to let everyone play at first until we know the dogs. And we'll tell you, if you have a question, we'll tell you. Say, hey, yeah, they can play together. Okay? Don't let your dogs go potty either in the training area or inside the building. So that means that you probably should feed your dog the morning of training and not the evening right before you train. Because if you fill the dog full of food and then you run it around in a circle and get really excited, what's going to happen? And if that happens, we will be glad to hold your dog while you clean it up. Because we are not paid to clean up your dog's poo. You are paying to take a class, and we expect you to be responsible enough to let them go to the potty beforehand. That doesn't mean there's not going to be accidents. They're going to be nervous. There's going to be accidents at first. That's fine. We have cleaning materials. It's not a big deal. But the more accidents we have, the more distracting it is to everyone else in the class. Now, how many people feed their dogs a meal twice a day, and how many people free feed them? Meal twice a day. About half. The rest of you, just throw the food down and let them eat it whenever they want? Once a day? 3 times a day. Ah.
That's what the breed is.
Does anyone free feed? Does anyone leave the food down all the time?
During the day, but then take it away at night. Essentially, they eat twice a day,
but you leave it down all day long.
If they don't eat in the morning, we'll leave it down.
Okay. So,
we do take it away.
Ideally, dogs should be fed 2 meals a day. Leave it. And if they don't eat their meal in the morning, then you need to pick it up and put it away and get it back out at night. It's very instinctive for a dog not to eat its entire meal and save it. The other reason you want to pick it up is because what goes in on a regular basis comes out on a regular basis. And if your dog is eating intermittently throughout the day, it's going to potty intermittently throughout the day. Third reason is he who controls the food is in charge. So if dog keeps the food all day long, guess who dog thinks he is? He thinks he's in charge. So it's another subtle way of us being dominant over our dogs, because we want them to respect us as the pack leaders. Therefore, we control the food. We bought the food, not them. So it does work out much better if you feed them 1 or 2 meals a day, sometimes 3, depending on the age of the dog. Most dogs do not need 3 meals a day for the rest of their life. What breed do you have? Beagle?
Beagle, but it's a puppy.
How old?
4 months.
Yeah, so she could go to twice a day at this point.
I think.
Usually we say puppies 3 times a day to 8 to 12 weeks, depending on the size. Maybe if it's a teeny dog, 4 months, but a beagle's usually big enough by 4 months they can go to twice a day. They should eat a high-quality puppy food. They should be eating a meat-based diet, not a corn-based diet. And they should be eating a highly digestible diet. You don't really want your low-quality O'Roy or Sam's Choice or foods like that, because those foods are very high in energy. You wouldn't be here if you weren't having some sort of issue or you didn't want to train the dog. And if you have a dog that's all hopped up on a high-energy food, it's going to be that much harder to train it than a dog which is eating a food that's more digestible and it's lower in energy. Okay? So your food does make a difference in how your dog behaves. Let's see. Sissy, what is wrong with you? Can I have my water? All right. We're going to go over some equipment. I already showed you the head halter that we placed on Axel. He was a very nice demo dog.